Hello and welcome back to Scratch for Beginners. This is the third tutorial video in this advanced race car game. We just thought we'd sort of split them up a little bit to make it a little bit easier to follow the videos. And today I'll be talking about the braking system, timing and lap starts, etc. and touching the grass extended, which is like making the little, as you can see when we do the play button here. He goes forward, and then if he hits the grass, it says get off the grass. Okay, so what we'll start with is the braking system. So if we go over here, this is the braking. This is if you press the space bar. So this first little bit here, we go into the controls section. We go when space key, drag that into the coding box here. So when the space key is pressed. So next we have something new here. We use the if-else statement. So that is down here, if-else. So we drag up the if-else here, and we have another if-else nested here. Okay, so if, and then we go into the operators, and we get the more than here, and drop that into the little triangular box which is there in the if-else statement. So if, and get the speed variable from here, put that in the first box. So if the speed is more than 0, then we set the speed, so that go to the set again, which is down here, we set the speed to 1. Okay, and then else, if the speed, which again variable from here, so yeah, else if the speed is less than 0, then we set the speed to -1. Else set the speed to 0. So basically what this section means here is if your speed of your car is more than 0, so 1 and above, and you press the brake, it sets the speed to 1, so it slows the car down to 1. So else if the speed is less than 0, so -1 and above that, set the speed to -1, which is exactly the same hit as here, just minus. Else set the speed to 0, because it's going to be set to something if it's not any of these things. So if it's not more than 1 and it's not more than -1, then it's got to be 0. So it just sets the speed to 0. It's got to be set to something at all times. So it just sets it to 0, because it can't be set to anything other than that. Okay, so that is the braking system here. So now we go into timing and the lap starts and things. So if we mosey on down here, this section here, which is the setting, and I know it looks complicated and a bit longer, but it's not that bad. So we go into controls, and we go to when green flag is clicked, which is here. Drag that into the coding panel. So we wait until touching the finish line. So that is down here. So we wait until, and this is in the sensing, touching, and this is a drop down one because we need to choose an actual point for it to stop. So it goes, if the green flag is clicked, wait until touching the finish, and then set the lap to 0. And we're back into our variable section here. Set the lap to 0, set the lap time to 0, and set the lap start timer to set the lap start to the timer, which basically starts timing your lap as you go around. So these things happen when you click. So if, as you see here, 0, 0, this actually says -0.4. What we do is press the green button, green flag, and then it all gets set to 0. So that's what that means. And then this little bit down here, we have a forever loop. So forever, wait until, back into the controls here, which is down here, wait until. So forever, wait until, get our operator here, which is what we were talking about earlier, the not here. There we are. Wait until not touching the finish. This blue bit is from the sensing again. So forever wait until not touching the finish, and then wait until touching the finish. So this basically is from the start of the lap to the end of the lap, where you go over the finish line again. And then once that lap is finished, set the lap time, which should be this one down here. Set the lap time to, and this is another operator here that we've got, which is from the green section here, the minus operator here. So set the lap time in the drop down box to the timer minus the lap start, and this basically works out what your lap time is. And that timer there is a built-in function of Scratch, which is here. This isn't a variable that we've made, this is already there. So yeah, so you forever wait until not touching the finish line, wait until touching the finish line again, and then once that's complete, this lap, this is basically waiting for the lap to complete, set the lap time to the timer minus the lap start, which means that it will work out your lap time for you. And then after that, set the start to the timer, so it will still it will go back to 0, the built-in timer, and then change the amount of laps you've completed by 1. This section here does not affect the speed section here, because this is a variable and this is separate from all of this stuff here. And the last thing I wanted to show you in this video was this little fun thing I put in, which is when the green flag is clicked, forever if, which are all in here again, as we've sort of probably got hold of right now, is the fact that these yellow ones are all in the control section. So forever, so for all the time that the game is going. If, back into sensing, touching the colour, and again we did this by saying I want to touch the colour, I want to touch that colour, and you just get the dipper and it changes it there. So if touching this colour green, which is the grass, then go into the looks, which is something we haven't looked at yet, and say get off the grass for 5 seconds. That just means when you hit the grass, it'll tell you to get off the grass, so you're aware that you've been slowing down, which is what we were doing up here, slowing the car down. Right, so I'll just quickly show you these things. So we'll go around and we'll look at the lap start. So look, we've gone over the finish line, so the lap has now started. And what we do is go around the track at a reasonable speed, and we come around here, and look, lap time 20.7 at the bottom, get off the grass, that's the thing I just showed you before, and the amount of laps has been changed to 1, and the lap took me quite a while to complete, 20.7 seconds, but this is just for the purpose of showing you. And for the braking system, so we go fast, then hit the brake, and then it slows it right down, and we haven't hit the grass or anything. And then going on what we were showing you earlier, so if we go at a reasonable speed and then hit the grass, it slows us right down, and it won't let us go above a certain speed setting there. Okay, so that's enough for this video, and there is one last video in this tutorial session which shows you how to code the skid mark for when you go too fast. Okay, thank you very much.